Yeah. Well, all right. Like you always say, welcome, welcome, welcome. Number one sports talking D. We ain't like the Falcons, we won't blow the lead. Look, all we talk is who that, who got cut and who back. Rookies in the vets, players you should look at. It's the sports coma, you don't wanna miss it. Got the pre-game, party, post-game statistics. Get a visit from Sway, maybe DC or 5. It's the hottest thing smoking, Big Q and the guys. Go to YouTube Live, make sure you subscribe. Interviews inside the Saints locker room high. Talk to Drew, Jordan, Zach, Peyton, New Orleans, who that nation. Best believe when I say we bleed gold and black. Ain't a miracle or rivalry could ever hold us back. No, Beastquake, Bounty Gate, let the truth be told. It's the sports coma, all we know is say Super Bowl. Yeah.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Who that family? What it do, fam? What it do for this time around? Welcome to the Sports Coma. Good to see the family members in the building, representing who that to the beautiful black and gold family members in the building. Welcome to the Sports Coma. And I know it's kind of late, family. I'm dropping one on y'all kind of late. But I'm here, baby. Good to see y'all in the chat. Who that to the beautiful black and gold family members in the building. Much love to you. Good to see all the family members in the building. DJ Austin, who that to you. Kevin, GM Kevin, who that to you as well. Tramal Kellop, who that to you. Tramal, I see your family. DJ say they're trying to change the name of the Superdome. It's already a done data. Mercedes-Benz is going to take their name off of it. And I think they got, and this is a part of the business perspective of the show, family, that I like to talk about. Because we covered this on TSC Q&A Live, which is the Tuesday night show we do for our Patreon champions. And I talked a little bit about it on that show. I'm going to cover it a little bit more about it as I drop about 4 topics today on the Sports Coma. It's not going to be a live show. I know it's the middle of the week and I know a lot of people got to be up early, so I won't hold you tonight. But we'll talk about that as well. DJ 985 say you work in the graveyard shift. Who that to your family? Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Donovan Grayson, who that to you? Donovan, who that to you? I see your family. Tori Shepard Sr., who that to you? Tori, I see your family. Much love to you as well. Let's see who else we got. Jesse Jackson. What up, Jesse? Who that to your family? Good to see you as well. Tori Shepard Sr., who that to your family? Much love to you as well. 985 Live says ATL had to copy us. Time for a change. Cheryl, who that for life? What up, Cheryl? Who that to you? Good to see your family in the chat as well. Kelly, what up, Kelly? Good to see your family. Much love to you, Kelly. Neville Lewis, who that to you? Neville, I see you, fam. Big ups to you as well. Scoob, what up, Scoob? Who that to my boy, Scoob? Chad Prue, what up, Chad? Good to see you in the chat as well, Chad. Much love to you as well. Good to see all the beautiful black and gold family members chiming in. Jermaine, what up, Jermaine Scobie? What up, Jermaine? I see your family in the chat. Jarvis Rogers, who that? From Shreveport. That's right, man. The port is in the building. Shreveport in the building. I remember, man, big ups to Shreveport as well. Good to see the family members chiming in the live stream as well as we introduce Sports Coma. TSC Live 125, show number 526. Show 125 of the TSC Live series. 526 shows from the Sports Coma. Over 5 years of good work spreading out, dedicated to the black and gold family members in the building. You know, it just don't even feel like 5 years, family. It really don't. When you having fun doing something that you love, man, it don't seem like that much. School says the PRO Coma Dome. Big ups to your Scoop. Thank you for that. Jermaine said Bucks fans really think they're going to win the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is in Tampa Bay, by the way. That's why they got their tails up in the roar, because they're thinking that Tom Brady is going to take them to the Super Bowl, which Super Bowl is in Tampa this year. So I couldn't have scripted that sucker. But anything involved with the NFL and Tom Brady, you got to watch him. And I mean with a huge microscope on their ass. You got to watch them. Timothy said all the way from Tacoma, Washington. Timothy Dillon, who that to you from Tacoma? All right. Good to see you in there as well. Timothy, much love to you as well. Leesville. All right, Chad, I got you, fam. Leesville. All right. All right. Good to see the family members in the building. And for those who aren't, much love to you guys. Chime in the live stream. Please hit the like button. And if you're listening and you haven't commented, please give me a who dat, and I'll give you a shout out as well. GM Kev says Q must have something special this late. Just covering a few shows, family, and talking about a few things coming up. And we're going to just show it. So we're going to talk about a few things today, family, in this episode of the Sports Coma. The NFL, of course, had an article out by Greg Rosenthal from the NFL, who says that that the Saints roster is the NFL's best. You know I have to talk about that. So we're going to go over that article as well. We're also going to talk about the Saints seeking new naming rights partner for the Superdome. Now, I remember over the last 10 years or so, the Saints have had the Mercedes-Benz moniker on the fans building. And I'm going to say it again for the fans building. The fans building. The fans, the tax-paying fans building, not the ownership of the group that sits over the leadership of the dome and the arena. Their asses didn't pay for those buildings. That was taxpayer money, your money, my money, that built those buildings. But they made $50 to $60 million by simply putting their names on the building. Did anybody get a check? We're going to talk about that today, man, because that's part of the critical aspect of thinking about football, man. It's not about just what's in it for me, but you got greedy, really greedy people in the NFL all over the place. And the people at the short end of the string is always the ones that's the power of it. And I just despise that. And also, we'll talk about the Saints. They picked up a new head athletic trainer today, and it's the first time in 2 decades that the Saints have a new head trainer. Of course, we got to talk about that. So we're going to get that as well. We're going to cover that news article and giblet as well. And then, of course, the Saints have 6 of the NFL's top 51 players, according to CBS Sports. And we're going to go over that article from WWL as well. So without further ado, family, Trey Joseph, who that to you as well, joining the live stream. Good to see you. Kev says they're going to go back to the original name, Louisiana Superdome. Trey says winning on the Super Bowl on Tampa Bay's field would be so sweet, almost as good as winning on the Falcons field. It will be quite amazing to do that as well. Knock them out and then go there and represent. And that's what we're supposed to do. And Tramal says Mercedes-Benz taking their name off the Falcon Stadium too. Nope. They're ending their deal with the Louisiana Superdome and focusing on their partnership with the Atlanta Falcons building. You know, of course, it should be spoke about from a business perspective that the Benson family has dealerships, Mercedes-Benz dealerships, here in Texas as well, which probably was one of the factors in fostering that deal. But anyway, Lori Hackler, who that to you, Lori? Good to see you in the chat. Who that to your family? And without further ado, family, I'm going to share my screen. And we're going to go into some of these stories. We're going to start off with the first one, which is the NFL South's projected starters. And I'd like to thank all the beautiful Black and Gold family members for joining me with this current episode of the Sports Coma. Like I said, it's 4 stories we're going to cover, and then I'm going to let you go. It is late. I know a lot of people got to go to work, so we're going to do this. NFC South projected starters rosters is NFL's best, says Greg Rosenthal. Rosenthal said that the Saints roster is the best. Now let's go over this in here. And they show you everybody's rosters in the NFC South. They start with the Falcons. And they show you their starting with their interpretation of what the starting roster is going to look like. And it shows you Matty Ice, Ty Gurley, Julio Jones, Ridley, and Russell Gage. There's also Hayden Hurst, who they traded from the Baltimore Ravens for. Jake Matthews, Carpenter, Mac Lickstrom, and Caleb McGarry. That is the offensive line. Defensively, Deontay Fowler was added from the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Rams. You'll start at the defensive end where Vic Beasley used to be, Grady Jarrett, who's quite the wildebeest, and then you have David, you got Davison there, and then Takaris McKinley, who is pretty good. Then, of course, you see the linebackers, which one of them is Deion Jones, and then the secondary there, Keanu Neal, A.J. Terrell, the first-round draft pick, and a few other players. Then, of course, you go down, of course, to the Carolina Panthers, and you see Teddy Bridgewater, McCaffrey, DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, the speedster, and, of course, they picked up Robbie Anderson, the long and productive, troubled wide receiver that used to play for the Jets. He's now a Panther. Ian Thomas, and then, of course, on the offensive line, Russell Okung, Dennis Daly, Paradis Miller, and Taylor Moulton. And then you look at the defense, Brian Burns, who was a linebacker. They're moving him to defensive end. Big Derek Brown, Kawan Short, who's that's a very mean interior, to be honest with you, Carolina is looking at. They've dedicated their entire draft this year to the defense. No offensive picks, all defensive picks. Very interesting, Carolina's interior with Derek Brown. That's a wildebeest, and then Kawan Short. Very tough. And then on the other end of Burns, who's a pretty good defensive end, who's really a hybrid player, you got Yetur Gross-Matos from Penn State there. Shaq Thompson, Whitehead, and then, of course, Dante Jackson, the LSU guy. And then there are other players as well, like Jeremy Chin, the safety, who is interesting. Trey Boston, Troy Pryor Jr. is another interesting DB as well. Going down to, they're going to skip the Saints and do them last and cover these people. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Of course, Tom Brady's there. Ronald Jones II, the do-it-all back. Evans, Goodwin, and Gronk. With O.J. Howard, they're looking at a 2 tight end set. Line is Donovan Smith, Ali Marpet, Ryan Jensen, Alex Kappa, the right guard, and Tristan Wilfs. Now, of course, half of the line was really bad, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did address that. They did bring Kappa in via free agency. And then Tristan Wilfs, one of the best offensive linemen in the draft, they picked him up to play opposite of Donovan Smith. So they did address some of the woes on the offensive line to try to protect Tom Brady's statuette's ass. You look at the defense, and the Ndamukong Suh came back with Big Vita Vey. Then there's Shaq Barrett, Levante David, who's productive, with Devin White, who's a beast. Jason Pierre-Paul came back. And their issue is going to be the secondary, even though I like Anton Winfield Jr. He is quite the player. Carlton Davis is interesting as well. But still in all, they're incomplete. Now, the top team here, save the best for last, baby. Drew Brees sits with Elvin Kamara, Mike Thomas, and Emmanuel Sanders, the perfect complement. Jared Cook is there. Josh Hill is there. Armstead, Pete Ruiz at the center, McCoy at the guard, in my opinion, with Ramczyk. And then you look at the defense. Cam, Onyemata, Rankins, and Davenport. Interesting that they put Onyemata and Rankins together as opposed to Onyemata or Malcolm Brown or Sheldon Rankins and Malcolm Brown. I don't see how you sit Malcolm Brown for Rankins. And I think Brown starts. Either you couple him with Onyemata or Rankins. I say it's still Brown. But it's Jordan and Davenport, all the ends, linebackers of Demario Davis and Alex Anzalone. They're using the mindset of a modified nickel for each defense. And you see the three guys they have, Marshawn Lattimore, Janoris Jenkins. P.J. Williams is not that guy. That will probably be Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. That just shows you that these guys that write about the Saints outside of here don't know a damn thing about the team. Nobody in their right mind will put P.J. Williams as your third nickel. That's because they don't know your team. It's not P.J. Williams, Rosenthal. It is Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. And, of course, both safeties, Marcus Williams and Malcolm Jenkins. Now, that's what they're saying here. And, of course, as you can see, Rosenthal then gives, looking at all those, and says the Saints roster is the NFL's best. And his thought process on it, if you read what he read underneath, he said, it's crazy how good the Saints backups look at most positions. No wonder, he said, no wonder they keep trading up in the draft. Even Peyton says he didn't mean to imply that this is Drew's final season. Sure feels like Drew's final season, especially considering the terms of Breeze and Hill's contracts. Can't remember a clearer now or never year for such a talented team. It may also be a now or never year for Kamara getting a big extension with the Saints. He just wasn't the same player last year he was during his first 2 seasons in the league. Kamara can be the best player at his position if locked in. You have to compete with Christian McCaffrey, but Kamara is a dangerous weapon when he's happy. So hope we can get his money situation right so he can show out on the field as well. 2 things that he's learned, Rosendahl, about projecting the Saints offense over the 3 years, that Josh Hill will play more than expected, and for the battle for 3 wide receiver spot probably doesn't matter. Hill's played a similar percentage of snaps to Jared Cook last year, even when Cook was healthy. That's a very good observation because that is the truth. The slot position will be occupied a lot by Taysom Hill, and then you'll see other people utilized there as well. Don't be surprised if you see Troutman, the talented tight end that the Saints drafted this year, have an opportunity to play that position as well. And the Saints have guys like Jared Cook and Troutman that can actually spread out. We talked about this on the last live show of the past Saturday when we had Sports Illustrated Bob Rose on. We talked about how really talented the Saints' weapons are to be able to be. You can move the tight end off the line of scrimmage and move him out to the slot. He could play there. It's so many different things we're looking at. Plus, if you're looking at players like Ty Montgomery, who really, in my opinion, has a chance to make the team, he could play. He can line up in the slot as well. And he is in truth be told, he can be a very underrated slot man if you think about it. He has absolutely no problem going across the field, as tough as nails this kid is. Okay, General Manager Mickey Loomis expressed confidence in the homegrown options behind Thomas and Sanders, with Traquan Smith the most obvious candidates for snap after quietly scoring 10 touchdowns in the last 2 seasons. See, they really don't know. Traquan Smith is on the bubble, man. Do your homework. Traquan Smith is on the bubble. Traquan Smith needs to step up this year or hasta la vida. Hope I said that right. Hasta la vida. Okay, well, you know what I mean. The Saints transaction border on cockiness, trading up for nearly every pick they made in the draft. That includes center Cesar Ruiz, whose selection precipitated cutting 3-time Pro Bowler in 3 years, Larry Warford. He said, I'd be confident too if I had Peyton and Loomis' track record of drafting and developing linemen. And, let's give credit to the offensive line coaches for that. The depth of the roster can be seen on the defense. The Saints have backups at the tackle, which is probably, in my opinion, one of the deepest they've had. The defensive interior tackle position is probably the deepest on the team. When you talk about depth, not only just depth, but impactfulness. Those guys behind Sheldon Rankins, Onyemata, Malcolm Brown, then behind him, Shai Tuttle, Taylor Stallworth, excuse me for that. Taylor Stallworth, and then you have Malcolm Roach, who has the opportunity to continue that lineage just over the last several years. When you talk about guys like Taylor Stallworth and Shai Tuttle, Malcolm Roach could actually be that guy as well. Very athletic guy. I was looking at some film about him. They can use him in many different ways to help on defense. Really athletic, big, natural-born offensive lineman. I like his potential. And then then he does make the reference to the depth isn't quite as strong as defensive end. Now, even he sees that. But starter Marcus Davenport reminds me of a young Jadeveon Clowney. I don't know if that's a compliment or an insult. And he's poised to make a 3rd-year leap. Safety Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, listed as a starter here, isn't listed as a starter here, but the team will have to find a way to get him on the field after a great rookie season. They'll get his ass on the field at the position you put P.J. Williams on your article. The linebacker group is worth watching. Demario Davis leads the group, but there should be an open competition for snaps between Alex Anzalone, with rookie Zach Bond, Caden Ellis, Craig Robertson, and guys like Joe Bacci, Andrew Dowell, and Hanson. Those guys could step up as well. The Saints get my vote for the best roster in football. Although the 49ers are close, this would be their 4th straight year as a top 5 regular season team, a stretch of sustained excellence they didn't accomplish even during Breeze's peak years. That makes the pressure even greater to convert the talent into playoff years. And that is the absolute point. We covered that on the last show about squandering away Drew Brees' peak years. But there's a very good article by Rosenthal from NFL.com saying that the Saints, that's right, the Saints are the best roster in the NFL. This is NFL's best, baby. Much love to Greg Rosenthal. Appreciate you, Greg. And let's move on to the next one. Okay, next to the next article. Saints seeking new naming rights partner for the Superdome. Okay, this is the Saints will officially have a new name in 2021. The Saints confirmed the naming rights agreement with the Mercedes-Benz will not be renewed after it expires next year, according to Benzel, the Saints senior vice president of communication. You know, the same guy that was helping the Catholic Church hide the names of the offenders on the list to be reported to the media. That guy told Forbes that the team is seeking a new partner that will not lend its name to who will not only lend its name to the legendary building, but also partner on initiatives to aid the Gulf Coast region. Would be interesting to know what those initiatives are, because they always make them try to sound like they're going to benefit us some kind of way. Let's see. The Mercedes-Benz Superdome is a globally iconic building that brings a tremendous value future for a naming rights partner, Benzel said in a statement. As with the philosophy of the Saints organization and stature of the building, it will serve to represent our city, state, and region as a leader to better our community, to be more than just a naming rights opportunity, but a real partner, just as Mercedes-Benz was. And in partnership, the goal will be to bring positive change to our region, city, state through a number of initiatives. And you know, I'm going to find out what those initiatives are. Now, the 45-year-old building that never had a sponsor until it inked the 10-year deal with the Mercedes-Benz people in 2011, just it's time's running, they made reportedly $50 million to $60 million just for allowing them to put the Mercedes-Benz on around the dome and on top of the dome. $50 to $60 million. So they focusing on going there, but it's interesting to see these things, man, because I like to see the numbers. You know, the Saints should have too much trouble attracting partners. Of course, the Superdome was originally scheduled to make its 11th trip to New Orleans. Super Bowl, was scheduled to make its 11th trip to the New Orleans in the 2014. However, the game probably be pushed back due to the conflict with Mardi Gras. Superdome is also scheduled to host the NCAA's men's finals in 2022 and has hosted the College Football National Championships in January. The building was famously revitalized after being ravaged by Hurricane Katrina and is scheduled to undergo $450 million in renovations between now and 2024. That's your money. Okay, so let me just cover this right quick, and we're gonna jump back on topic. But I kind of promised myself that I would cover this when we did the TSC Q&A live show on Patreon. I spoke about some of this article, and I just want people to understand here, because this is more than just a football show. We actually use this thing up here. We actually use it as more than a goddamn hat rack. And when you read articles like that, what it does do, it shows you that real money is being exchanged. The Mercedes-Benz paid the Superdome's people $50 to $60 million to put their name on the building. And not to mention the fact that they also they have $450 million. That's $500 million almost, man. $500 million worth of renovations over the next several years. And it's $120+ million renovation that's coming up soon, where they putting windows around the dome, changing out escalators and all that. You say, well, Q, why are you bringing all that up? Because I'm talking about the aspect of this would not be the case. They would not spend $60 million to put a name on a building if it wasn't for your ass. I'm just trying to, it's a clear example. It's a perfect example to state to you the power of who you are. Anytime I can point out empowerment, I can point it to you. They would not put $60 million and pay you to put $60 million on top of this building if it wasn't for the great Saints think tank and all the people involved in making the team success. Even because they have people, they took their tax dollars and they never went and sent it again into your building to watch a football game. They never went down there, you know. but it just shows you how things are. And I'm praying, I really am. I'm really praying that some kind of way people wake up to how this stuff is ran, because I love my team and I love football. But that ain't right. That's not right when you get $60 million to put your name on the building and you don't give not $1 to the people that built it. Do you see my point? Do you see my point? And I'm pointing it out. Most people won't point it out because they're part of it. They see empowerment and playing along with it. I don't see empowerment and playing along with being a chump. That's what I'm talking about. So when these things exist like this, I have to point them out. And it's insulting to me that if you at least you could do is cut the people a check who put their money in it, or at least don't charge them any taxes, or at least take the surplus money you make and fix the damn streets or the infrastructure, or put it in the school system, or better yet, don't put it in the school. Get rid of the people that's running it first. But oh my goodness, man, do you not understand what I'm saying here, family? It's a different mentality that's needed, because this is just going to keep continuing. You should be watching those games in that building for free when you're able to watch it for free. All the money, for $500 million of renovations to that building over the next several seasons, with $100+ million coming in the next year. I'm saying that to say a lot, man, but I'm just saying, think about it. Think about it. And then you get nothing. The city said, oh, we made $3-4 billion in tourism revenue. Where did you get it at? And I'm saying, at least give them tax exempt status, because you collect it everywhere. You collect it everywhere else. That is not how it's supposed to be done, unless it's a sucker and chump system, and we just happen to be those people. But what we hear, they had some brave reporters that wrote on it about the unfairness of it. The fact that they don't pay no taxes, the fact that they said that they collect all of the money. It's almost like a mafia group or something being ran, man. I tell you. But anyway, I'm going to move on from it. But I just have to point that out because it infuriates me. Because they call it your Saints and your dome, and you get nothing. Not even the free parking. Not even the free hat. Not even free tickets. Not even free nothing. You get chumped everywhere. You pay 2 or 3 times over on all the merchandise. You pay for the tickets. You pay for that high-ass beer. And even when they make their own beer now, you still paying double for it. Man bought a brewery. He bought a brewery and make his own beer because he got tired of paying Budweiser and all them people all that money for that damn beer. So what he did, this dude went and bought an old brewery called the old Dixie Beer. He bought an old Dixie Beer brewery and made his own beer and put it in his own stadiums and is making a fortune. And then you wonder why they the richest people in the state when you don't pay no taxes and you paying for everything. Good grief. But you can't get nothing when you need it. I'm just saying, man, let's move on, man. For those who feel me and understand where I'm coming from. For those who don't know, just stay asleep. Sooner or later, you'll feel where I'm coming from. Let's go to the next one here, man. Saints picked Sean Gibson as a new athletic trainer, first at the position in 2 decades. And that's a part of it. First time in a long time, 2 decades, the Saints will have a new athletic trainer. The role will now belong to Sean Gibson, who replaces longtime athletic trainer Scotty Patton. Gibson, who started with the Saints this month, according to his LinkedIn bio, has over 20 years of experience as an athletic trainer from the University of Houston. Stephen F. Austin, he's a graduate, served as athletic trainer with the Bills for a couple of years, then an assistant with the Cleveland Browns, and then he rose through the ranks with the Bills and all the way up. But he held the athletic trainer title for at least 20 seasons in New Orleans, started in 2000, other than Coach Jim Haslett. So Sean Gibson is the new athletic trainer. Let's hope that goes a long way in keeping our players healthy, because that got to mean something. Switching a new athletic trainer, that's big, especially in the time frame that we're dealing with. Hopefully this trainer will come with some new ideologies to keep our players fresh and everything, because with all this virtual stuff, we're going to definitely need to come up with new ways to keep them from getting injured. This is with all the virtual stuff and the fact that they can't have camps and all this, it's going to be interesting. On to the next story. This is from WWL, like the old Buddy D used to say back, WW. Saints have 6 of the NFL's top 51 players according to CBS Sports. Pete Briscoe has wide receivers Mike Thomas as the 4th best player in the entire league. The Saints have 3 of the top 12. It's no wonder why the Saints are considered a Super Bowl contender, because a lot of people is pushing them out. It says Briscoe is one of the first to come out with his top 100 list, and he has a caveat mentioned that no one had Lamar Jackson as a top 100 player prior to last season, and he became the league's MVP. Anybody with eyes knew Lamar Jackson was going to be a star in the NFL. Anybody with eyes. When he fell and slipped in the draft, and you had those other quarterbacks that went before him, it was an insult. And a lot of that people believe behind the scene that it was because of Lamar Jackson told him before the combine that he was not going to try out as no goddamn wide receiver. He's a quarterback. Well, some people didn't like that. He slipped in the draft. Kudos to Baltimore for drafting him, and he rewarded them. And if you watch him play at Louisville, you know that guy was going to be a star. You knew it. I knew he was going to be a star. And I didn't have to go and sit in his games and watch. I could see him on the television what he was doing. He was accurate. He was a leader. He knew when to take off from the pocket. And in most cases, he was the fastest athlete on the field. Okay, so it's still nice to know that so many people share Saints feelings about their team. Briscoe has wide receiver Mike Thomas as the 4th ranked overall, only behind Mahomes, Aaron Donald, and Russell Wilson. Not bad. Despite his age, Drew Brees comes in at number 11 overall, as Briscoe touts 27 touchdowns against only 4 interceptions in 2019. 4 of the Saints were in the top 51 spots, including defensive end Cam Jordan, offensive tackle Ryan Ramczyk, running back Elvin Kamara, and linebacker Demario Davis. Finally, Demario getting some love from somebody. Finally, our guy Demario Davis is getting some love from somebody, and at least some kind of recognition. Good grief. He finally gets something. So that's a couple of the stories we covered, family. The NFC South projected starters, of course, Greg Rosenthal from NFL.com said the Saints roster is the NFL's best. And we also covered the really annoying story about the Saints. I'm saying, seeking name and rights partnership. We covered that. The new athletic trainer after 2 decades. That is news now. And of course, the Saints, 6 of the NFL's top 51 players, according to CBS Sports. That is some of the news that we're covering. And can't stay on that late. So I'm going to answer a few questions in the chat as well, and send out a few shout out to the rest of the family members in the building as well that I couldn't see when I was running down the stories. Dominic Evans, I see you, family. Good to see you as well. Big ups to you. Lori Hackler, I think I gave Lori a shout out. Caution, who that to you, Caution. I see you, family. Thank you for joining us. Dominic, like I said, shout out to you as well, fam. Let's see who else. Darrell Freeman. Who that to you, Darrell? Much love to you. Sir Luke, who that to you, Sir Luke? Much love to you as well. Debo, I see you, Debo. Much love to you. Who that to you, Debo, as well. Solo, the Pro Cut King. Who that to you as well, family. I see. He says, not having Ireland hit on these drafts, wasted prime. Drew, our FO was sad back then. The Bounty Gate. Yeah, and Peyton spoke about the Bounty Gate stuff. The Bounty Gate was a bunch of malarkey. And the cold part about it is that even though they put the Bounty Gate on the Saints, they apologized to the team because they had no real evidence. They came back and issued an apology to the team, and it was low key. It's crazy how things are, because it's like controlling the narrative. That's why we have to do better to remember these things and correct them in public when things are, when they allow to sit. Because the NFL wasn't right in the Bounty Gate. They came back and had to recant anything, but they didn't give money back to the team. They didn't give them any extra draft picks for nothing. That's why I have such a hard time with Roger Goodell. I despise Roger Goodell because he's a piece of garbage, trash, and he's corrupt. Any guy like that, and he was put in position because he's a master brown noser. He went to college and mastered the art of brown nosing. He does whatever the owners say, and he takes the heat. So you gotta think about it for a second. What kind of league is it really if you put a piece of trash and a piece of garbage like Goodell over the NFL? What is really the mindset of the owners if you would say this guy is our commissioner? This piece of trash right here is our commissioner. And he's designed, just like the president of the country is designed, to take heat from everybody. We just put up here and look at him and throw all our disgust at him. But remember, he represents the owners. They appointed him. He didn't appoint himself. They appointed him. So I'm very upset about that, the Bounty Gate stuff, because they never gave they never gave back what they took from the Saints. And even though they were wrong about it, they never truly made it right. And that's why it's such a bad feeling between the Who Dat Nation, the Great Saints Think Tank, and Roger Goodell. And key pieces, because I'm smart enough to recognize it don't stop with Goodell. Goodell do whatever they tell him to do. So I would look at the layers above Goodell. If they give that piece of garbage and make him the commissioner and pay him $20 million a year. Very sad. Scoop says, let's pass around the virtual plate. Timothy says, best Saint talk show number one. Thank you, Timothy. Edward Labarski, what up, Edward? Good to see you. Fam says, what up, Big Q ups from New Mexico. All right, good to see you, Edward. Thank you for joining us, family. Much love to you. Let's see. Chad says, we can call it cash money reconcile. You can see the greediness always rubbing their hands. At least Birdman don't hide the fact that he greeted. All right. I would say, how about the Big Q Superdome? Timothy's baby did say on the Big Thomas first tape he wanted to buy the Saints. Yeah. Let's see. 985 says the Who Dat Nation Dome. Debo says whatever they do. Lion, he says, want them to use Tabasco hot sauce dome. I want the Popeyes dome, Raising Cane's dome, Smoothie King dome, Zataran's dome. Whoever it is probably going to be a Fortune 500 company like a Mercedes-Benz. They'll find somebody similar to that to come in. Sport Talk 365, big ups to your family. He said the city didn't see none of that money. Nope, never do. But it's always and that's why I get upset, because you write these flim-flam articles, these soft pieces out here, and they put little buzzwords like city initiatives. The bulk of the money that's taken in always seldomly, probably 1% of it actually trickles their way down to the people it came from. You know? And they sell you better goods. It's a bill of goods. And I'm just against having a nation of suckers. That's the thing. My thing is, I don't want us to be a nation of suckers and chumps. That's what I'm preaching to the Great Saints Think Tank. That's what I preach. Don't be a sucking chump. Don't be one. And that's what this is. And that's why, only reason why it's like that is because we haven't spoken up on it to demand it to change. You've been letting it fester for years. This has been going on. But remember, nothing happens without you. The buildings, none of that. If you didn't want to go down there, they wouldn't go and put that on there if it wasn't for you. They wouldn't put $50, $60 million shit up on top of that all around there. They wouldn't do that. If you wasn't going in those buildings giving your money, they would not do that. It wouldn't be worth it. It's all built on what you're going to do. And that's why I'm saying, if it's all built on what we're going to do, then who has the power? Who really has the power? And that's what I'm talking about. And that's what I preach. Because I don't want us to be chumps. I don't want us to be a bunch of marks or fools or nincompoops or imbeciles or whatever you want to call it, like they feel about us. Ramsey, who that to you, Ramsey? I see you in the building as well. 985 last said they donate the money to Catholic Church and schools who, they're under fire. A lot of those Catholic organizations, not all of them, but some of them under fire. I just read an article today with some stuff going on. It's a lot of stuff going on and a lot of oversight. And I ain't talking about them looking at it. I'm saying some independent people made up of of citizens that have something to do with it. Not some unelected people running around here or some appointed people. No, that's wrong. All right, let's keep it going. Lance, who that to you? Chad, who that to you? Ramsey, who that to you as well? Yep, Dixie Beer, Dixie Beer Superdome. Wouldn't be surprised. Let's see as well. Like I said, the man was a businessman. He took whatever money he made off of you. He was in the service business. He was a car seller. I'm talking about Tom Benson, rest in peace. He knew how to take his money and turn it into something. And when he had the Saints there, he could turn $1 into some money. And then one of the last things he did from a business perspective, even an old sick old man, was he bought that brewery and started that and bought all that beer, that brewery and started Dixie Beer again. Had the commercial spinning. Listen, if you go back and look up the history of the city like I did, you'll find a lot of fascinating things. The city was home to several major breweries, some of which you can still see to this day. You can see a lot of the breweries. Some of the family members in the building can name them. Dixie was one of them. But they had Jackson Brewery. Remember that? Some of these breweries are still there. They just converted some of these things to condominiums. But a lot of it was home to several different beer breweries down here. It was in Prohibition era. That's what it was, a major big beer town after all that happened. But Dixie Beer was one of those ones, and he always, I guess he reached back into his nostalgia, brought the Dixie Beer thing back into fruition. Now he sells it at these games. How much does it cost you to sell your own beer at the games, both the arena and the Superdome? I mean, gallons of beer. You're gonna make some serious money. And I'm trying to get people to understand the business of it, not so much just the sports aspect of it. Because without the business aspect, you wouldn't have no sports. They would not be putting these games on for free. You know? And I'm not against them having a profit. Capitalism, a lot of people look at capitalism in the wrong way, but it's all based on the person that's practicing it. Most of them ain't truly practicing true capitalism. You know, they're not, they are crony capitalists. And a lot of people against it, but capital, all it means is money. That's all it means. When you go to your home, the head of the state, the top city in your state is called the capital. The capital mean that's where the money is. That's where the money decisions are made. So we're not against money, but the reality at the end of the day is that you're not going to be the one that be on the outside looking in when you're the one that makes it all go. I mean, didn't this recent law just show you without you participating in the economy, there is no economy? I mean, come on. It's just, come on. Know thy power is what I'm saying. Know your power. Tramal, let's see, says the Goodell's a puppet. Sports sites, do you think they'll ever start charging to watch games on TV if no fans in the stand? Sport Talk, you already know. You already know, brother. They're ahead of the game on that. Oh yeah, that's definitely coming. They're going to find a way to recoup that $100 million they make per game. The fee, I think, is $135 million a game. We're not just talking about, everything involved. You're talking about 60 to 80,000 people every Sunday going there buying beer and concessions, merchandise, paying the park. Then you have the naming rights you throw in there. You're talking about all that other stuff. And they still pulling out of their $100 million after paying for, well, they don't pay for the lights or the water or none of that or the rent. You pay for all that. You pay for it. They don't pay for none of that. They don't pay no rent. Rent? What's that? If I didn't have to pay no mortgage or no rent or none of that, you imagine what I could do with that money. It's not a fair playing field, family. Scoop says we pay for bottled water, so they who that to you, Raheem 21. But no Sport Talk 365. You're absolutely right, brother. They're gonna definitely figure out a way to charge us to watch these games on TV to kind of recoup that money. They're not gonna let that money slide. They're gonna figure out a way to try to get that money back. I'm telling you. And that's what the NBA is doing. And remember, they look at it like this. We don't take the loss. We pass the loss on to you. Everything, we pass it on to you. That's the mentality. Seriously. Let's see. Chad Proof says Turner probably. Yeah. Ted Turner, boy, what a scumbag that guy is. Raheem 21 said the masses will always be sheep. The day they aren't, anarchy. Now I want to say, so whether the most of the people are asleep, and that's a condition of the brainwashing. Because let's get it straight. If you don't know about brainwashing and programs on television, when they're telling you that the TV has programs that's programming you to think a certain way and all this kind of nonsense, I don't know what to tell you. But it's always a certain amount of people. It's never truly everybody. Even if you research the old civil rights movements, that was 30% of the people. That wasn't, and it made you think like it was more, but that was less than 30% of the people doing that. 30%. Look it up. A lot of people don't realize that because they don't do their homework. Dominic says Masterpiece Superdome. DJ said the prices may go down. Jermaine says, I know I spent a lot of money in that dome over the years. I know, fam. Ryan Darrell says Lamborghini Superdome. Edward says, didn't the CIA run operations out of Louisiana? They ran it out everywhere, fam. They run it out of everywhere. Calio Project Superdome. Javier, who that to you? No Limit Soldier Superdome. Oh, they bringing Master P back. Lance Kelly. Let's see. Edward says, how much does it cost to park at the Superdome? Man, it was $20 to $25 to park your car up in that, man. I'm like, how you charging me to park? How is that? This is paid for already. That's like charging you a toll on a bridge that was paid for over and over again. That's another scam. How you charging me when you collecting tax money off of that already? Isn't that covered it? That's why they got rid of toll bridges on the Crest City connection some time ago. That was a whole scam where they said we're gonna put this up here to cover the cost of the bill of the bridge. But you know what happened? They started making up reasons. They created a bridge police and fixed them to it and started doing all this. See, that's what happened when you don't check their asses. When you give them too much room, that's what kind of games they run on you. So you gotta check them. It's up to you to check them. You got to check them. It all falls on you. And I'm proud of the city for doing that, for pulling them wretched tolls off of the Crest City connection, because that was underhanded them. Doing that for 20 years, they got over. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I keep saying that, man. I keep saying that. You think about all that stuff. I'm like, man, we too busy making a living. We ain't got no time to worry about you trying to pay this tax, pay for this, pay for that. Q, I ain't got time to worry about that, Q. I'm trying to feed my family. And all the time they know that, so they keep hitting you with this stuff, spinning this stuff around. You got to think about it. And why they doing that? They just keep creating stuff around you to making you and charging you for it. Scoop said, I don't know why they charge at the Superdome for parking, but the Eagles charge $50 to $100. I see they all in, everybody doing the scam. Paying $25 to park in a building that's over 20 years old that you paid for 3 times over is totally unfair. In my opinion, those tickets should be given away. A lot of that should be given away because you're making max profit already. How much money do you bastards need? You are making max profit. You have to give the people relief back, or the people gonna wake up and get pissed off and take it from your ass. I mean, what can I tell you? That is the law organically of nature. Eventually, no matter what you do to the people, they're gonna wake up. And when they wake up, you in trouble. So they spend billions, trillions of dollars to keep you asleep and keep you pacified. But woe unto you when we wake up. And guess what? We are waking up, and you need to be very upset and worried. And trust me, they are. Iceman, who that to you? Hold'em Hook'em Tiffy said it took me $100 to get drunk. It's obscene, bro. It's ridiculous. And you see, because I've spent money in there, and then you go back, you say, man, listen, I've supported this team for years. I've done a lot for your ass for years. The best you can give to the people is to give them tickets, because they paying the rent for the buildings and the lights and the water and everything. When they spend and turn on the lights during game nights and have the whole arena, the whole dome turned on the lights, do you not understand how expensive that is? Do you not understand? Do you not understand? Who pays for that? And and trust and believe them lights spend all the time when that building there. You can see it going by there. You can see the lights on, and there ain't nobody even up in there. Ain't no concerts or nothing. But it's just a part of the game. It's not my money. It's not my money. And when that's the mentality that they have, I'm calling attention to it, family, because sooner or later we got to get right with this in here. And it's like, if you look at a lot of the stuff that we see today, dealing with sports and our team, it's unholy fair. It's unholy fair. Really, it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. It's repugnant to me to sit here and watch that. And I read that article and it pissed me off. It did. It pissed me off the other day when I read the article, because that wasn't the same article when they talked about that the commission that oversees it owns the buildings. And I'm like, owns the buildings? Hold on, SOB. Y'all don't own nothing. That is the taxpayers funded buildings, arena and dome, convention center, all that stuff is owned and built by the people. But you got bureaucrats that sit on top of it and run it like they're there, and they get kicked back. And I'm just sick of it. I'm just sick of their asses. I'm sick of the crooks and the thieves. I'm sick of them. And the people not getting their fair share. I'm sick of it. And then when you say something like, man, you don't supposed to be collecting hundreds of millions of dollars without giving the people their fair due. How the people don't get not one penny from that? I mean, man, I just read you an article showing you that they $50 to $60 million they made since 2011 off the naming rights. That's just putting up the letters on the building. 60 million. How much money did any of y'all asses in this chat collect? Huh? Did you get a penny? Not one penny. And I'm not supposed to get upset about that? How are you making money off of something that you don't own? That's the problem. That is the problem, man. That's the problem. While telling you that is your Superdome, while telling you that is your New Orleans Saints, while telling you that is your New Orleans Pelicans, while telling you is your New Orleans Arena or the Smoothie King Center. Don't they tell you that? So why are they telling you is your New Orleans Saints or your New Orleans Pelicans or your New Orleans Superdome or your New Orleans Arena or the Smoothie King, whatever you want to call it? But you don't get anything from it, not even free tickets. And you got to pay the park and pay 2 or 3 times the cost of goods and services. They get that stuff in and mark it up twice as much as what it's worth. And that's sucker shit, man. I'm going to leave it alone. All right, let's keep it. Let's put Bill Cooper in the game. Good grief. Raheem 21 said the black and gold NOLA Dome. Edward says, I'm going to game 2 in Vegas if allowed, but it's worth it. I love watching Saints live. Holden Hooker TV said they don't even want to give those fans towels out anymore before the games anymore. Why give you anything? You ain't asking for nothing. You ain't demanding nothing. I wouldn't give your ass nothing either if you, I mean, come on. You gotta, man, listen, you gotta sometimes say we're gonna draw it back. We gonna draw it back. Even the PRO Media Network give discounts to our family members, man, when they purchase goods and services. What your product code for Saints attire at? There is none. I mean, it's just what it is, man. You got to take your power back. Inevitable Expertise says rename it the Rolls-Royce Superdome to one up the Falcons. Holder Hooker TV said Tom Benson spent our money in Canton, Ohio to have his name on there. Am I wrong for saying that? No, it's a fact. No, Holder, why you wrong? You ain't wrong for saying the truth. He did do that. It's just, then we worship them, and that's something that we can't do. They are not the power. You are. How many times have I said that, family? How many times I get on this damn mic here and yell out to the people that you are the power that the Ghetto Twins don't? Y'all, the Ghetto Twins don't. We are the power here. And I keep saying that, not the people, but you are. Isn't that proof evident, possible when people that's in football realize your work? Or when they talk with you are the power. It's all about you, because if you didn't show up with your power and your money, they have nothing. And that's all I'm saying. I'm saying that you are powerful. You are beautiful. You are where it starts. You are the genesis. You are the strength. And that's what I'm saying. Not telling you to deny your team. I'm not saying that you need to deny your fandom. I'm not saying all that. I'm saying add that to it. Add everything I'm saying to it, and see that you'll get more from it when you demand more from it, because it's yours anyway. They're telling you that. They're not denying you by telling you that it's your team, because you pay for every damn thing. That's why it's your team. They say, I ain't paying for nothing. You are. He said, well, the Saints paid Drew Brees. I said, no, the Saints didn't pay Drew Brees shit. The fans did. He got $230 million plus $230+ million out of the fans. That ain't come from the Saints. The Saints ain't paying that out their pocket. That come from you. So if the thing is, the question be, if they could pay one man that much money over a period of time, how much money are they really making? That'll blow your goddamn doors off. All right, let's keep it going. Neville Epstein says, Neville says, hey, Q, remember Slick Leo used to have a dance and DJ contest in the Superdome. Long time ago, fam. Long. Ramsey says the people need to buy ownership of the Saints like they do with Green Bay. They don't need to even offer that because they got everything they need, baby. They got it all. But that would be awesome. That way, that it's a smart model because at least that way you're getting something. It's an investment. Debo says it's crazy how people living in the city lack jobs and classism. The Saints are a cash cow. Nobody we know person has gained a lick of money besides the beer man. That's what I'm saying. If you think about it, you understand. Damn, man, that's true, Q. Damn, Q, that's absolutely true. That's true, bro. We supported this team since 1966. They've made trillion. They made at least $1 billion here, more than $1 billion. Made a couple of $1 billion here. And in the franchise, they got a building that they didn't pay for, that we paid for. They take all the money out of there. Like, damn, man. And that's true, Q. They do say it's your Saints. That's true, Q. They do say it's your Superdome. Damn, they do say that. Why they say that? Because they know. Without you, it wouldn't work. Yeah. Van Ward, who that to you? Hold on. What happens to the Super Fair, Q? What happened to the Super Fair? Man, the Super Fair. Wow. Damn. Yeah, that's old school there, bro. The Super Fair. I don't know. I don't know what I don't know, family, how they gonna do. They're gonna hold all that up for right now. Man. Yeah. It's a lot, man. I don't know, fam. I don't know who hook up TV. I don't know how that's gonna work out, family. But Ramsey says the people need to buy. Yeah, I just read that. Debo says the city should feel that money more. The city should feel that money more. The city would flourish with it. Kane says, Q, they make billions of dollars every 3 years. Thank you, Kane. Good comment. Appreciate you, fam. Billions of dollars. Do anybody, let me ask the chat here, the Great Saints Think Tank, the 80+ people in the chat, did you get any dollar, any penny from that? If you did, I salute you. Because you must be subspecial because they ain't looked my way once. Debo says, but at the same time, Big Q and the state are ran by idiots. Man, I know, family. Not only just idiots, but greedy, dirty, rotten dogs too. You know. Darrell says, Q, they got you cursing, Lord. It's just, you know what, fam? You know, it's just a part of it. Like nowadays, you get to a point, and I've always been this way. I've always felt this way, is that, you know, it gets a point, and you're gonna start seeing that around these times, family. These are very strange times with a lot of lying and dirtiness going on. And some of you know what I'm saying, and some of you probably don't know what I'm saying about it, but trust and believe that the truth always has a way of coming out. See, the problem is you have people who think they can twist and turn and manipulate and it not come back to them. No, don't work like that. The universal truth always shines out. And that's why most of them always get locked up in jail. And, you know, it has a cycle. A corruption cycle, it rolls, and then people get upset and they change it and they throw the bastards in jail that's doing it, you know, or worse. And they switch it up and it goes back to what it's supposed to be, balanced. And then people get decadent over a long period of time and then it goes back. It's a cycle. It's a cycle. We're toward the back end of the cycle where a lot of the great people, the really moral people, are asleep right now. And they're letting too much go. They're not challenging things that they're supposed to be challenging. And that's a shame. They push dial back, but it'll come a time when things will be put in their face, which will reawaken them, and then you'll have the end of the cycle and a completion of it over, and then it'll start again in a renewed cycle with the right people heading it, because they would have removed all of the guys that was causing the problems. This is me and you are part of that cycle. And merely the fact that I'm sitting before you calling these things out when most people really shouldn't or wouldn't call these things out, is just proof positive that the cycle exists. And it's a rhythmatic harmony or cycle that happens much similar to the seasons, whether it's spring, summer, whatever. You know those seasons are coming. These cycles, this is a part of the organic nature cycle. This is what it is. And, you know, sooner or later, people then rediscover who they are and what they are, and they move forward. And me and you and all of us are a part of this. And that's the great and beautiful thing about it. Drew Goddamn Bree says at the end of the day, the NFL and these 32 teams are LLCs for entertainment. That's exactly what they are. The league is ran like a 501c3 that's very hidden, and they save money there as well. So they're very intelligent and very, very disagreeable people. And like, if you ain't morally strong and you get a lot of money, it's going to bring out your worst characteristics. And just think about dogs that got a lot of money, you know, evil people that got a lot of money. They just going insane behind the money. Just think about some of the recent examples of some of the football players, you know, that got money that went off the deep end. Think about guys like Antonio Brown, who got some money and just went off the deep end and started doing all this weird shit. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. Money, if you're not under control of who you are, money will magnify whoever you are and what you are. And it's a shame, man. But it is what it is, family. All right, let's keep on going. Debo the guy says, feel like none better than Big Q ran on. I hear you, Debo. Shout out to, he said, shout out to Ray Nagin. I got you, fam. Van Ward said, Forbes says Saints worth $2.3 billion. They made $441 million a year, operating income $126 million. How much of that money did any of y'all asses get? I'm just asking. Did y'all get any of that $120+ million that the Saints dealt out last year? I know you helped them raise it, but did you get, listen. My statement is, and I'm upset about it because you supposed to get some of that. They're using your structures that you built with your money to make hundreds of millions of dollars. And I'm not supposed to say, no, you owe me. Pay me what you owe me. I'm not supposed to say that. I'm not supposed to say that. I'm supposed to sit back and be a dumbass chump and let these people steal off hundreds of millions of dollars with me while elevating prices every year. And saying they got to make up operating expenses. What operating expenses? We pay everything. We pay for the lights. We pay for the water. We pay for everything. That's why I'm upset. That's why I'm upset. That is not a fair, that is not a balanced and healthy relationship when you're helping somebody and they're not giving you anything but smoke up your you know what. Now, I'm just keep it real. Am I saying anything that's not fair here? Oh, let's see. Holden Hooker says Mrs. Benson was giving the Breeze kids $20 bills like they need some damn money, while some kids outside the dome asking for money for food. Shaking my head, Q. I know, dog. I know. Hold 'em, hook 'em TV, bro. You're right on point. You're right on the money with that. And I could talk to you about a lot of other stuff that goes on dealing with that. It's a lot of wrongness going on there. I won't get into that. This is not the platform for that. So join up for On Q with Big Q on Patreon. And you get your issue over there. I'll tell you what. Raheem said that's because of the disconnect with the elders and the youth. Got to bridge the gap. Got to restore respect. Got to command respect, baby. You got to command respect. You cannot get respect if you don't command it yourself. If you got people disrespecting you and talking evil and reckless to you, will they respect you? If people stepping on you and kicking you and spitting on you, how dare you deserve to say you need to respect me? No, you stand up like a person doing, let them know. That's somebody I'm not going to play with. That's somebody we got to understand because they know what time it is. That's how you get it. You get it because in this world, in this society, in this universe, in this sphere or this plane or whatever you subscribe to, the smartest people control it. And if you are not a person that can match them here, you are in trouble. How many examples, if they screwing you with a football team and a basketball team and entertainment, what else are they doing? Think about it. This is the only real weapon you have to connect and win in this society, in this world. And I know this is a football form, but I'm empowerment as well. So you're going to get the football talk, but you're going to get the empowerment with it because we need it. We need it. All right. Hold Hooker said, Big Q for mayor. Let me tell you, fam. I'm going to tell you, if I'm the mayor family, I'm coming into your time. I'm being the mayor. I'm eliminating property taxes. That's my platform. I'll eliminate your property taxes. You ain't paying no property taxes. Whatever you buy, you own. That means that you don't have to worry about paying me no money on your property. And they said, well, Q, what about the money that they use for building of the streets and whatever they do with the property taxes they collect? Well, simply create a tax that's not affixed to your property. Very simple. Very simple. That way, that'll create an influx of people that actually can own some shit and not sit up there and have to pay rent on property taxes year after year. That is wrong. That is so wrong. That is wrong. And bear in mind, there are areas in this country that do operate like that. They just put the taxes on something else. They don't affix it to the property. That's something we also need to investigate. Kelly says money is the root of all evil. Thank you, Kelly. Kevin said, I'm just wondering what Netflix original The Witcher. It's the climate, bro. A lot of people, man, this has been known for a long time. They had articles, big credit to Times-Picayune wrote articles about this, about the greed of the saints and all kind of stuff. You got to cover it fair. See, there has to be a balance. You have to have a balance, family. When you talking about a team over here, you got to cover them fair, because if they're doing good over here, you got to cover the bad and indifferent as well. You can't just say and cover one aspect of it and do not give the people the other aspect of it. That is not how you're supposed to cover something. That's not how you go. You're not keeping it real that way. So if we're going to talk about the Saints, and I just talked about and read the story about dealing with the naming rights. The person that was giving you the information about the naming rights article was Bensel. And I made mention of, when I was covering it, didn't I, about Bensel being the same dude that was responsible for the cover-up dealing with the Catholic Church. Wasn't he the same guy? Yes, he was. He was the one named in that, helping them hide the names of the pedophiles. So see, how can I not then cover saint stuff on the positive end and then turn over here and look over here and not cover that as well? I wouldn't be keeping it real, and I don't operate like that. I'm going to tell you the truth. All right, Ernest Adams, good to see your family. Sean C., much love to you. Who led to the building? Neville says, hey, Q, remember Dutch? He helped out a lot. Yeah, and Dutch end up, dead in his car. See, when people do good and help out people, you got to protect them, bro. You got to protect them, because most of the times it'll be 1 or 2 or 4 or 5 people against a whole system of rotten dogs. And that's how it's festered, is that you get a person, they might go in right with their right mind, but over a time, it's like a festering ball or sickness everybody get when they're there. Sooner or later, we got to turn it all around, fam, is what I'm saying. And you got 4 or 5 people fighting an entire system. You got to back people up when they help them. You got to protect people when they do stuff for the people. You can't leave them out there by themselves on the island. Something strange will happen to them. Furs 318 says they make money from the Louisiana State High School championship games they play in the Dome every year. Everything come through that family. They get a cut of it. I mean, every blasted thing. And I'm glad you guys are open to what I'm saying. And I'm glad that I see. That's why I appreciate y'all. That's why, and I always say, I appreciate y'all, because this is the Great Saints think tank. That means all of the being a Great Saints think tank, you got to have a thinker. You got to have something you got to think with. And I'm glad that y'all are so cerebral. I really am. Because this is the type of thinking that we need if we're going to go forward. Because we can still enjoy these things, but imagine if you go to the Saints game and watch the Saints game, but you go in there and you get a check. You get a check in your account for $500 for every game that you go to, or $1,000 or $500. I'm just low ball figures, but imagine that you are paid to go to the games, because it's an investment. And the team took your money and made max profits. And then when you go to the game, you're paid a percentage. So you got money in the bank just to go watch them. You'd be like, Q, that's outstanding. I would love that. That's how it's supposed to be. It's not, they're not supposed to be a great, stinking, rotten succubus pulling in all of the resources and the power of the people onto themselves and enriching and empower themselves off of you. It's not how it's supposed to go. There is supposed to be a trade, a fair trade. If I trade you this, I get this. There's supposed to be a fair trade. Anything else is not a balanced relationship. It is an abusive relationship. Anything that's not a fair trade is an abusive situation. We don't participate in those situations. If we functioning minded, we will steer away from those negative situations. It is a bad deal. But that's why I appreciate you guys, because you guys understand that we should be getting money. And see, this might be something here in the Great Saint Think Tank, but it's sparking something. So that we come out and say, we demand this. If we're going to give you this, we need this, that, and the third. Like I make mention of some time ago about, instead of voting for politicians when they come to you and we click up in groups, have just a paper made with the things that you want. And if they agree to it, then have it notarized and the politician signs to it. And then when he goes and get him elected, he gets elected, and he doesn't honor his paper, the stuff that he put on the agreement to you, you can sue his ass for breach of agreement. That'll eliminate campaign promises. I mean, we have the power. We just have to stop being led away to the wrong side of things. Slap the hell out of some gun reading, trying to lead you to Stupidville or Suckertown. Ernest says, y'all be talking about the rename and construction of Mercedes-Benz Dome. Let's see. Kevin says the speaker show Q about the beef shit. He said the speaker show Q about the beef. Everybody should hear that. Yeah, I know it's a lot to be said, family. It really is. We got to get the family members on that. Who that to you, Big Dog Joe Bell? What up, Big Dog Joe Bell? Who that to you? Slick Rick, what up, Slick? You missed quite a few, quite a light, Slick. I ain't gonna lie to you. We at the tail end of this here thing. But good to see you on the chat, brother. Raheem says 80,000 plus people, 50 to 100,000 easy. See how it sounds? Don't it sound good? But that's the right way it's supposed to be done. It's an investment. How do we not get anything, any return? Oh, you gave us all that money for us to entertain you. No, no, son gun. No, you can miss me with that. But it's just food for thought, fam. Raheem's, Drew goddamn sees men of integrity, virtue, and honor, always the martyrs. This is a damn shame. Yeah, but see, they don't have to be. They don't have to be. If people would protect those people, and you would protect people that's standing up for you, protect them. Because when they stand up, they are marks. They are marks. And they stand up on honors. And most of the times, there are very few honest politicians in the game, because the system promotes you to be disagreeable. Most of them are turned around. Most of them are blackmailed. That's the truth. Most of them are. It's a controlled construct. And for you and every now and again, you'll get 2 or 3 real ones that'll get in there and stay true to who they are. But it's like fighting against a sea of zombies. You ever seen that zombie movies when you got 1 to 2, 3, 4, 5 people up there and you got a million zombies coming out? How you go? How you gonna stop all them goddamn zombies? But that's what I'm saying. That's why the people should have their back when stuff like that happen. You got to stand up for people. If you want relief, stand up for people that's providing relief. Make sure they're doing what they're supposed to do. Stand up for them and protect them. Rock with them. It's only a better life for you and your family. Rock with the people that are rocking right. If they ain't rocking right, you'll know who they ain't. If they ain't rocking right, if they tied to all these little dirty ass people over here and all these little mischievous people, you know they ain't rocking right. Rock with people that rock with you, but rock right together and walk together. This is the time, I'm telling y'all. Raheem says, let the whole Saints think tank sweeten the Superdome party. Hey man, I invited, like I said, there's a lot of people that listen to the Sports Coma, and you know it's out there. It's been out there. It's out there on iHeartRadio. It's on all these little places. Everywhere. It's everywhere. People know about the Sports Coma. They know how we talk over here. They know this is the Great Saint Think Tank. We get a lot of respect from players. Them people, the players were shouting out y'all. They said the Great Saint Think Tank. That ain't just me. That's y'all asses. They was shouting y'all out here, saying big much love to the Great Saints Think Tank. Talking to you. That's respect for you because of your thought process and what you bring. That I'm telling you, it's a respect for the Great Saints Think Tank because you are unlike anybody else. You have the ability to think outside of sports in a way that's high on high, which gets everybody a benefit to it. Imagine if there was a system or a way, which I'm telling you is coming, that you can get paid just to watch it because you putting the money up anyway. But you wouldn't, if you wasn't intelligent enough to see that, to see it happening, then you could not deny, you couldn't demand it. You could not demand it if you didn't see it and call it out. That's what I'm talking about. And the courage to call it out is another thing. And to live by it, because we are in precious times. Ernest says a lot of these Saints loyalists will have the detox Saints football at least a season before the organization will recognize NEQ's suggestion. That might be true, Ernest. You're absolutely right. That was well said too. And that's a part of the discipline aspect too. But if you have the intelligence and you have the clairvoyance enough to see these things, then why not have the ability to be able to make them happen? Because see, they're suppling off of what we're bringing. So to a degree, they're hooked on you as well. So it's not just a one-way relationship in terms of us not getting what we want. You can negotiate now because you're at that level where you see what they're doing. Prior to that, you didn't see the game plan. You didn't see how they was doing it. Now that you see it and you know it, then you can change it. That's why it's uber and so really imperative that we understand everything pertaining to this sphere of football, not just the Saints on the field or in the locker room, but in the business office as well. Why, Q? Why we need to understand it? Because it's empowering to know how the structure is ran, because it's based upon you and your energy, not just your money, but everything that you bring. That's a portion of it. And if you're being denied things or you're not recognizing that you can get more power out of that relationship, what can I tell you? Everything that I'm saying is 100% right and exact. But it's up, and you said it right. You said it right, Ernest. It's up to the fans and the family members to understand their power dynamic and call it into focus, is all I'm saying. Recognize, and I've said that, recognize your power. That's all I'm saying, family. Who that to you, Brandon Cormier? I see you, Brandon. Who that to you, family? Verla says, Q, find us a financial the pool investments agreement and take the returns and buy the Saints back. Silence. Who that? They're not selling it. They're not gonna. There is some honey pot right now. There is no. They have all the breaks in place. They got it all right now. It's a sweet gig right now. If you're the New Orleans Saints, I'm just gonna keep it real with you. And you got fans out there that's so brainwashed that they won't even challenge the coach on the field. So think about me challenging them in the financial boardrooms, for real, Q. You challenge them in the boardrooms, and they got fans out there that won't even challenge the coach on the field. Come on now. That's what I'm saying about levels to this in here thing. You can't be a sucker chump like that. You got to elevate, because understanding where your power resides is a part of the power dynamic. It's a part of the power dynamic. It's a part of the power dynamic. Understanding where your power resides and that you're not here and they're there. No. That you're here or there. That's a severe difference in perspective, isn't it? Think about it. It's a difference in thinking when you say that they're here and you're here as a supporter, but it's not really that's the case. That's a total lie. It's really, this is what it really is. Fake is this, Saints up here, you down here. The reality is you're up here and they're down there. How are you up there and they're down there? Because without you, they cannot live. They cannot succeed without you giving them the power. It's not like you cannot live without them. No. You can live without them. They can't survive without you. Now, that's a big difference in thought processes and understanding the power dynamic, the relationship power where it resides. That gives you a bargaining base. That gives you an ability to sit down at the table and have a discussion, understanding that. If you didn't understand that, then you have nothing. It's all about that. Anyway, let's keep it going. Roy Baker says the big Q. Thank you, Roy. Who that to you as well. Sean says, how we pay basketball games, football games, and got messed up parks and courts. We should be getting something for our loyalty. They do fix up a few courts, but understanding that from a business perspective, listen, man, read the 48 Laws of Power, man. I've read it several times. I really don't like the book. And I'm going to tell you, I don't like the 48 Laws of Power because it's almost like a Luciferian Satanist person wrote the book, because it justifies, what's the title? How can I say it? Justifies a mindset where the ends justify the means. So if I screw grandma out of her money, or a million grandmas and grandpas out of their money just to make sure this company over here don't go bankrupt, then it's all good. I accomplished my mission. That kind of thinking I cannot get behind. I can't get behind that kind of thinking. I can't get behind that, because that's all wrong. You cannot do that and expect to live a healthy life. Disease will eat your ass up. You'll have all kind of stuff happening. And I'm saying the karmatic aspect of doing something disagreeable to somebody will come back upon you with the force that you gave it. So you're going to have to do something in this world where you don't reap that karmatic response, that you don't get it back. Because what you do to others come back to you. So what I say that for is, when we start understanding the mindset of the people that's engaged in operating and enriching themselves, we would then understand why things are like this, and then you can create a stratagem to deal with it. You know, because we look at them as all intelligent, and really they're not really all that intelligent. You are just too goddamn trusting. And that's on every level. That's on the political level. That's on the school level. That's on every level. You are too trusting. And I'm speaking to me when I'm pointing. We are too trusting as a people. We are too trusting. You, in the same mentality we have to buy a car that we never drove before, or to buy a house for the first time that we never seen before, is the same process of thought and protocols we should have when we dealing with everything. For whatever reason, we don't do that. And I don't understand, but we too trusting. That's where the fault lies. This type of stuff would have never happened if we were on top of it, challenging their thought process. But you have to, in order to do business with people at that level, you have to be intellectually equal to them on that level. You got to understand me on that. Because a boss ain't going to do work with it. He ain't going to do business with no employee. A boss does work or business with other bosses. He'll tell the employee what to do or hire the employee, but a boss makes business decision boss to boss, not boss to employee. So you have to have a boss mentality when dealing that type of stuff. And there's so many people out there who don't have that mentality, and that's their asses. And that's why I say, for you guys out there, to get to understand how stuff really work in the Saints, on the football and in the business level, capnomics and all that. How can we talk about the money aspect and not cover it all? Let's get all of it. Let's get all, the whole totality of the whole goddamn ratchet thing. Let's get it all and find out it all. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, that's it. Don Juan Fontaine. What up, Don Juan? I see you, family. That's right, Ernest. The Michael Jordan ideology. Thank you, fam. Michael Jordan is something interesting because he was a man sweating on the floor, running up and down, breaking himself up, and was a winner on the floor, then turned into a billion, and then became an owner of a team. That says a lot. To come from the bottom, you was the runner, the guy dribbling the ball, to the guy sitting up in the suite. Now, I don't agree with a lot of things Michael Jordan do, but the process of thinking to go from that guy on the court to an owner is something that we can borrow from. You see what I'm saying? Verlin says, Q, find us a fine. Okay, I already read that one. Let's see. Don Juan says, show them with your wallet. That's right. Ramsey says, Mrs. Gale need to have meetings with the great Saints things instead of the governor to discuss Saints fans' concerns. She's cool enough to do that, but really the governor is where she going to get that work from. You're going to meet with the governor. The governor say, listen, we're going to give you the funds that you need for the dome. What else you need? Also, you want to talk about that building, the Benson Tower. And anybody seen the Benson Tower? How many stories is it? What, 60 stories? I don't know how tall the Benson Tower is. It's down there. It's like a 40-plus story building or something like that. It sits right next to the Superdome, between Champion Square and the Superdome. That's the Tom Benson Tower. The state gave them that building and then rented out suites from Benson after he helped renovated it. And then he got the building for pennies on the dollar. And they said that was a good business move because it would have just been sitting up there rusting away. I'm like, what? You mean to tell me you couldn't find something, you couldn't fix that building with the taxpayer money, then rent it out their own suites yourself? It's just a part of the nonsense that they could tell you and get away with it because like I said, it's that thing, it's that mental thing. But anyway, listen, family, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all for chiming in on the show today. I'm sorry I kept y'all. It's almost 11 o'clock. But once again, at least it was exciting, right? At least it was something that it was empowering. We learned something and we were entertained. KRS-One back in the day called it edutainment. I think that's what the sports coma is to a lot of people, is edutainment. It's educating yet entertaining. Edutainment. That's what old KRS-One from Boogie Down Productions said a long time ago. One of my favorite BDP albums, Edutainment. That's what the sports coma represents, edutainment. Scoop says Jordan's crude, and rude into a rich dude. He fits the mantra. But there's a lot of those millionaires let the money go to their mind. It's a shame. But you know what, man? I appreciate y'all for joining us on the show today, man. I love y'all. Thank y'all for putting up with me for a whole hour, for an hour and a half and some change. Thank y'all. Scoob says Sean Payton is a buffoon. But anyway, man, thank y'all, man. I want to give a shout out to the family for joining us, and just to let the family know, that's right, Scoob, you must learn. That's right. Love's Gonna Get You. I think that was on there too. Love's Gonna Get You. That's right. Love's Gonna Get You that was the top track on that one. Y'all need to check that out. I'm dating myself there. All right. Pro Media Network, the Pro Radio as they call on Spreaker.com/the Sports Coma. Who that to you, Iceman, as well. Pro Media Network or Pro Radio on Spreaker.com/the Sports Coma. It's on, the links are in the description section below if you want to listen to the Sports Coma and several other shows like the Pelican Post Game Report, Ring King Boxing, Tough Tiger Talk. All that's is available on the Sports Coma. Spreaker.com/the Sports Coma, the link in the description section below. Also, to let the family members know, if you want to listen to shows like On Cue with Big Q, where we cover a lot of real stuff, it's the platform for it. School said it was written by the Luciferians. Thank you. And Sean said that's capitalism manifesto, Q. Oh yeah, the capitalist the communist manifesto, I think you mean. That's Sean. Yeah, I got you, family. A lot of stuff I done came across, man. Learn like how you cannot understand the world unless you immerse yourself into the thinking of how things are, and then don't lose your moralistic standpoint, but learn what you learn and apply it with your moral base, and don't let it sway or pull you from what you are comfortable with as a person. I mean, if you're a good person, reading something that's going to take you away from that lessens you. That's what I'm saying when we come down to reading literature. Empowering yourself, because that's a portion, but understanding the control mechanisms that other people who are not as moral as you are, who don't have a moral code they do whatever it takes to get the job done. Though that type of mentality is not beneficial to you, because it puts you somewhere from a karma standpoint that won't end well. Trust me. Become a patron of the show. We talk about politics, sports, news outside the Saints, Pelicans, boxing, all that's on the On Cue with Big Q. That's only on patreon.com. Also, you can get unlocked content on the Patreon, such as TSC Q&A Live, which we do every Tuesday night, where you can show up and listen to it. We do Sports Coma shows on Patreon that you don't hear on the channel. And there's also other things involved, such as you get to see most of the videos before they are released to the channel. So it's a lot of benefits in becoming patreon.com. Becoming a patron on patreon.com/the PRO Media Network. That's a benefit to the platform, and it helps build a very good platform. I really do appreciate our Patreon champions for all that you do. And also to let the family members know, the Pro Shop, which is the platform for the store. If you want to help out the store, if you want to help out the platform, go to the store. The link is in the description section below. 15% off with the code Stay Strong for this entire year. And then you can get 10% from Teespring. It's like 25% altogether when you put the codes off of gear. And we constantly coming out with gear. So feel free to go there and check that out as well. I think we got a few ads of some of the newer stuff that we spent, and this is an example of some of the shirts that recently came out. The Drew Orleans shirts with the 3 floor deletes in it, all colors, all sizes, built Drew Orleans stuff, All colors, all sizes, women, men, children, coffee cups, mugs. I mean, literally hundreds of products, dozens of hundreds of products. The Great Saints Think Tank Tee is also available. All color, all sizes, all that. God is a Saints fan. The third volume, my third version, I think it is, all available on the Pro Shot. So feel free. All colors, all sizes available. Plus you get that discount as well. So a lot of positive stuff going on, man. And I thank all you guys, man, for doing what you do and being who you are. I love y'all, man. I appreciate y'all. Remember, I'm about empowerment and prosperity for the people. That's what it's supposed to be, because it's all yours anyway. So when we have these discussions, I hope in my heart that you get something out of this in a productive manner that's not only entertaining but educating. Like old KRS once says, edutainment, baby, edutainment. That's what I'm talking about. I love that. I love that title. But anyway, thank y'all, man. Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Next show will probably be on Saturday, but look out. There's several videos that'll be coming soon as well. So I love y'all. Appreciate y'all for being on the show. Who dat? Be safe, and I'll see you later.
Yeah. Well, all right. Like you always say, welcome, welcome, welcome. Number one sports talking D. We ain't like the Falcons, we won't blow the lead. Look, all we talk is who that, who got cut and who back. Rookies and the vets, players you should look at. It's the sports coma, you don't wanna miss it. Got the pre-game, party, post-game statistics. Get a visit from Sway, maybe DC or 5. It's the hottest thing smoking, Big Q and the guys. Go to YouTube Live, make sure you subscribe. Interviews inside the Saints locker room high. Talk to Drew, Jordan, Zach, Peyton, New Orleans, who that nation. Best believe when I say we bleed gold and black. Ain't a miracle or rivalry could ever hold us back. No, Beastquake, Bounty Gate, let the truth be told. It's the sports coma, all we know is say Super Bowl. Yeah.